عليكم ورحمة الله. أهلا وسهلا أبنائي طلاب الفرقة السابعة بالمجمع التكنولوجي المتكامل بالأميرية. Welcome my dear students. Today inshallah we are going to have a new lesson, and today's lesson will be about compound adjectives. Let's start. Compound adjectives are adjectives that are composed of two words and sometimes more. For example, we have individual adjectives such as happy, such as, for example, sensitive, such as, for example, confident. But when we add another word to this adjective, usually before it shifts to be a compound adjective. For example, when we say self-confident. Okay, here is the word self-confident is called a compound adjective because it's composed of two words attached together to each other. The word sensitive, for example, we can derive a compound adjective from the word sensitive by adding the adverb culturally before it, so it becomes culturally sensitive. Let's have a short look at this exercise. Combine the items from the boxes to make compound adjectives. Here we have two boxes. On your left side, you have the words culturally. This is an adverb. None, this is a negative prefix. Open, an adjective. And self, this is noun. And on your right hand, you have words such as assured, aware, conforming, hearted, judgmental, minded, motivated, reliant, sensitive, and starter. Now you are required to combine the adjectives in your right hand with the words that come before them on your left hand. For example, to form adjectives like culturally aware, non-judgmental, open-minded, etc. Have your time, try to think, try to have a pen and a piece of paper and combine these words to form adjectives. Let's check. But before we check the answers, I'd like to give you the meanings of some of these words. Assured means confident. Conforming means behaving according to the society's usual standards of behavior. Okay, so something like adaptive, like acclimatizing yourself to the standards and norms of behavior of a certain society. Judgmental means judging things and people quickly and often negatively. Reliant means dependent. Let's check what you have composed. The answers. Culturally aware. Culturally aware means that you are conscious of the differences between cultures, and therefore you are more flexible in accepting people's behavior and people's conduct, okay, and not judging them negatively or even positively. You just accept what other people do. Culturally sensitive means being aware. It has similar meaning to the word culturally aware. Culturally sensitive means aware of the existence of similarities and differences between cultures without giving them a value, whether positive or negative, better or worse, right or wrong. Yeah, for example, if you are aware that certain people behave in a certain way, then you are flexible enough to accept this kind of behavior without judging it as right or wrong. Okay, non-conforming. None, I said that none is a negative prefix. These three letters are added to the beginning of words to make negative. So we have non-conforming means does not behave according to society's usual standards of behavior. It does not adapt to the society's norms and standards of behavior. Non-judgmental does not judge people and things quickly, negatively often. Okay, so you are not so quick in judging people, for example. Open-hearted. Open-hearted means that you are kind, sympathetic, and understanding people's emotions and feelings and behavior. So you are open-hearted, a kind person. Open-minded, accepting people's ideas and opinions. You are flexible enough to accept what people do and what people say. Self-assured, self-confident. Self-motivated. This means that you have a lot of energy and usually have good motivations for doing certain things. Self-reliant. This means self-dependent, that you depend on yourself while doing things. Self-starter. Someone who is able to work successfully in their own without needing other people's help or a lot of instructions. This word is usually used in the positive meaning, that you are self-reliant. Okay. Now I want you to compose sentences like the following, using the adjectives from the previous box to speak about traveling experience, for example. For example, if you're culturally aware, you'll find it easier to accept cultural differences. Again, if you're culturally aware, you'll find it easier to accept cultural differences. Let's have another example. If you're self-assured, you will not be affected easily by other people's opinions about you. If you're self-assured, this means self-confident, you'll not be easily affected by people's opinions about you. Okay, you have your own self-image. You are not shaken by what people say about you. Okay, especially if these are negative opinions. Try to form sentences like that using if conditional in the first case, okay, followed by present simple, and on the other hand you have will or can or may plus the infinitive. Now let's shift to another task. Today's reading is titled Get Yourself Lost. We know that somebody may get lost, but to get yourself lost deliberately or intentionally, this may seem a little bit strange. Let's check what it means to get yourself lost. Travelers to a new city are often encouraged to take a bus tour. The thinking is that they can later return to the places that attracted them. But that is nonsense. Nonsense here means not logical. What you see from the inside of a fast-moving bus is sanitized and unreal. Sanitized means clean and without problems on the surface, not in a real way. It's not. It appears to be clean and without problems, but in fact, it has lots of problems. Entirely removed from the real sights, sounds, and smells outside. So the first fact that is decided in the first paragraph here is that taking a bus tour in order to explore the city and the city attractions is not the best way. The best way, because having a bus tour is something that happens very quickly. So you can't see the actual or the authentic attractions of the city. Second paragraph. The best way to experience any destination is by foot, without an itinerary, wandering where your spirit leads you. Itinerary means a list of places you would like to visit on a journey. So you just let your foot takes you where it takes you, without having a list of places that you should go to. Even in the largest cities, the savvy traveler, the savvy here means the clever and the person who knows how to deal with situations successfully. The clever traveler plunges into the very center of the town, indulges himself into the very center of town and walks down the nearest street, experiencing the actual life of the people while looking into the grocery stores and country yard. You eventually get to many of the same sites you will have witnessed so much more because, you eventually get to many of the same sites that are on the bus route, the museums, the monuments, the city hall, but you will have witnessed so much more because you will have felt the contemporary life of the city you are visiting. The main idea here in the second paragraph is that, contrary to the bus tour, having a tour on your foot is the best way to explore the city's attractions. Why is that? Because while you leave yourself moving here and there, you discover the real attractions of the city. You discover the museums, the monuments, the city halls, the places of interest, and you get to know what is real about these things. You see the problems, you see how people behave really, you see, for example, you smell the smell of things, okay, actually without being faked ones and so on. Okay, so the second paragraph, the writer wants to say that experiencing a city by foot is much better than experiencing it through a bus tour. But what if I got lost? People ask. No one ever gets permanently lost in a major city. Eventually, a trolley or bus passes with the words Central Station on its front, and you can easily return to the center of town. Besides, the most wonderful things can happen if you do get lost, such as stopping at a sidewalk cafe to sit and relax and then asking directions from the locals. Locals means the people who live in the place at the next table. Hopefully, your trip may be attractive by this encounter, by this meeting. Here, there are some few ways to make the most of your travels. So the writer is going in the next tips to give us some important points that can enhance the beauty of our journey, that can help us enjoy much better our trip to a certain city or a certain town. First of all, know before you go. Know before you go means that before you depart, spend time in a library or bookstore, learning about the history and culture of your destination, so you will better understand the place you are visiting. Okay, so the first step provided by the writer is that you should spend some time learning about the place you are going to visit. Reading about its museums, its places of interest in general, about the culture of the people, and so on. So if you know before you go, you will enjoy your journey much better. Okay? Number two, move around like a local, like someone native to the place. Use the local subways, trams, and buses. You not only save money, you learn how people live there, and you'll gain a realistic perspective, point of view of the city. Okay, so the second point is related to the idea of live as they live there, live as locals live, do as Romans do, okay, as the proverb says. Okay, number three, check the bulletin board. Bulletin board is a board on the wall that you put information or pictures on. Okay, so check the bulletin board. Bulletin boards list the free lectures, concerts, workshops, and social gatherings, giving you a chance to join or meet the area's most dynamic residents. Okay, so when you check the bulletin board, you have different advertisements and different announcements of concerts, of social gatherings, of workshops that you can attend, and therefore get much more experience and enjoy your journey much better. The next step, take a walking tour of Of course, not a bus tour, but a walking tour. If you must book a guided tour, select the non-standard inexpensive kinds conducted on foot. Okay, so the idea here is that spend time walking in the city. Number three, the next tab and the final tab is, so the next time you feel lured by a sightseeing bus tour, lured here means, for example, attracted. Okay, save your money and instead wander around on your own foot. Okay, never to take the bus, but try to experience the city and explore its attractions on your foot. I promise you, this is the writer promises you a time you will remember fondly. You will never forget after that, okay? Now we have some simple questions about this passage to make sure that you have understood everything related to it. The question says, find the bold-faced words in the article. Then circle the correct words to complete the sentences. If something captivates you, you're upset, captured, delighted by it. Try to think. If something captivates you, what does this mean? Does this mean that you are upset, you're captured, or delighted? Of course, captured. Captured here means that you are not just delighted, but too much delighted. Okay? A savvy traveler is refined, experienced, or adventurous. What is this kind of traveler? Is he just refined, experienced, or adventurous? Of course, savvy here, as I told you while you're reading, okay? Savvy means clever. So it's a savvy traveler is experienced traveler, okay? An experienced traveler. 3, if you plunge into an activity, you probably walk away from it, throw yourself into it, or stumble into it. Of course, the middle one, throw yourself into it, indulge into something, immerse yourself into something. If you enhance your reading skills, you upgrade them, restore them, or prolong them. Of course, you upgrade them. Dynamic people are more cautious, unstable, or interesting than others. Of course, interesting than others. Okay? This is the end of the session. Hope you have benefited from each part of it. Thank you. I'll meet you in the next lecture, inshallah. Thank you.